Hey gang, Ronan here. As you can see in this game, I'm playing the Tier 10 Pan-Asian Cruiser Jinan. If there's a better pronunciation for that and you know of it, please let me know in the comments area below. This is, of course, a Tier 10 match because that's what I'm playing, but we've got Tiers 10, 9, and 8 represented. Now, the Pan-Asian Cruiser line is very squishy, and I just finished up a game in the Sejong, which is the Tier 9 in this line. I didn't make one for the 8. You know, they had the event not too long ago, and I think I picked up through the 7 in that. And then I played a few games in the Tier 7 and then free XP'd into the 8, and then played a few games in that and free XP'd into the 9. So the majority of the games, and there's not a lot of them, the majority of the games that I've played have been in the Tiers 8, 9, and 10. So I'm focusing these two videos on the 9 and the 10. Now, I had my share of bad games trying to get a hang of these, well, we'll just call them big destroyers with a Citadel. They are not dissimilar from the Neptune and Minotaur in that they are essentially a big floating Citadel. And you can be Citadeled and blapped from pretty much any angle, so you just don't want to be seen, which is very much like playing a destroyer torpedo boat. Now you can see our Missouri here. He probably just set it and forget it as far as his direction. He did turn the rudder there. But staying alive in the early game is really, really important in this, just like it is in a Minotaur or in a Neptune. And just like if you're playing a Minotaur or a Neptune, in the early game, if you get detected, anybody that has you within range is going to put shells on you because it doesn't matter how you're angled. You can literally get sunk from 22 kilometers away just as easily as you can at closer range. These big shells that come flying from nowhere can still blap you. And I'm just reminding our battleships that with two Hollands on the red team, it's easy to eat a face full of torpedoes. They have a lot of range on those torpedoes. They can get up and send those torps out. Now, why am I sitting here? Because I expect there's going to be a DD that has to B. Now, I'm thinking the Venom is going to probably go to B. Because we've already got a destroyer in the Ragnar and a submarine over there at A. But the Venom opts to, and I'm not judging him, he opts to help out against what's there at A. Which is going to leave me at B. And you can see these shells, 12.5 seconds to get there. It takes a long time. Now I get detected, so they know that I'm here. I'm detected through that gap. I'm just going to push forward here a little bit and stay out of sight. Now I'm going to go to the left. I can see there's a DD there, and I think he's probably right where I'm aiming right now. So I'm going to swing all the guns around to the other side. And Hipper got way too close, which I tell him about. Especially in a Tier 10 match, if you are playing a Hipper, at least in my opinion, your best bet, stay at long range, use your HE, and hit big targets. Now we're looking pretty good on this side. They still have their U-190 over here. But the Yugamo, I think he cleared out of the cap. That's why our guys are securing it right now. So I got to think there's a Holland or a Sherman right here in front of me. I don't want to go out too far because I'm imagining there may be torpedoes if I get spotted. So I'm just going to sit right here. He's already got the cap. Maybe he'll decide to push this way and come around the corner and get good angles on our Missouri. Just have to see. I'm trying not to be impatient. We're less than 4 minutes in. And I'm here by myself. So I do not want to bring attention to myself unless I absolutely have to. Because I'm detected, so that tells me that the DD is basically right where I'm aiming. He's just... it's just a question of at what range. Now, I know I'm out of his detection range. So you can see I'm pinging there, and I'm trying to tell the team, hey, there's a DD right there. I'm pretty well covered unless the Iowa swings his guns around, but he's behind an island. Don't think I have to smoke. And there's the DD smoke. So now I know that he's there. I'm imagining torpedoes are already on the way. So I'll just sit here and let them go by. Now I can see his guns firing. And I think that looks like probably a Sherman. And since I haven't seen any torpedoes, I'm guessing if it's the Sherman, his torpedo angles are terrible. So I don't have to worry about torpedoes and I can push up. Now I'm going to stay on the left side behind this island, so I can back up and use it for cover if I need to. I'm out of range. You can see my firing range there on the minimap. It's the red circle around my ship. The only thing that could detect me is that Holland if I open up. Now we lose our Lenin to the guns from the Sherman, and our John Barr finishes off their Iowa. So both teams now down a battleship, and I'm swinging my guns around to the other side because I'm going to push up really, really close here, and then I'm just going to skirt the side of the island and hope to catch that Sherman. I'm just holding down the right mouse button, which locks the guns kind of in place so they don't swing back around when I change my angle of view. And I'm going to get as close as I can to this island. Now I'm detected, so he's just outside that smoke cloud right there. There he is. And I'm going to try and get as much damage as I can. You can see he's got a lot of HP, but I'm putting some big hits on him. Now he's going to try and angle up. And as it gets farther away, it gets harder and harder to land the shells because of how floaty they are. So I go ahead and smoke up. Put torpedoes out in case the Hampshire or Tirpitz heads this way. And I'm just going to hide here and hope to be able to secure the cap. Now I realize there could be torpedoes coming from there, and that's why I looked there. Somewhere in that direction from the home. I got to stay in the cap long enough to secure it, then I'm going to reverse and try to get around the other side of this island. There's really no good reason for me to sit here.
Smoke screen set.
I could get torpedoes from that direction off to my right. So I'm going to leave the smoke and get the heck out of here. I don't think I have the range to catch the Carolina if he turns back toward, the south, but you never know. Now why am I pushing forward here? I just want to be able to use my smoke in case the Holland has pushed this way. So, Hampshire looks like he's getting parked behind that island, so I really need to get out of here. So back to the original plan. My spider sense is telling me torpedoes are probably coming.
Direct front.
I am detected.
Torpedoes, direct front.
So it's got to be the Holland, right? There's nothing else on this side that has any chance of seeing me. I know there's nobody behind me. And North Carolina is pretty quick, so he's going to outrun those torpedoes. I'm targeted by 2. I've still got 24 seconds until my smoke comes back up.
Torpedoes, dead ahead.
But now I'm back behind the island, and I'm probably going to be fine. I just have to keep moving forward, or backward. I've got to avoid what I imagine are torpedoes that are going to be coming from that way, and they're going to be fast torpedoes. Missouri finishes off their Tirpitz. They are now down 3. We're down 2. I really do expect torpedoes from this direction any second now. I don't know whether Holland went behind a rock. Yeah, there's some torpedoes. And those torpedoes may not have the range to get there, but just in case. Shimakaze finishes off their North Carolina, and now the bad guys are down 4 ships, and we're down 2. But I think, our Shima's in bad shape. And both our North Carolinas, in my opinion, are in terrible position right now. Especially the guy that's down there on the J line. I don't see any way he survives this. Now I'm back out here and not detected. He's going to be facing the other way. So I'm going to open up. And then I'm going to go help with the Hampshire if I can. So we got the Sherman and the Hampshire there. And I'm just trying to get back out of range. Get one more volley, and then I'm going to be out of range, and I'll just go dark.
Enemy submarine in sight.
So the Holland is in the north end of the Bravo cap. And I could tell that because of when I fired, I still went dark, even though I was within sight range of him, you know, from my bloom on my guns. So we've got two DDs, two red DDs in this area. Our Missouri, he's trying to get in there and finish the Hampshire, but I don't think he's going to be able to do it. No. He flooded out. And Hampshire looks like he's going to make a run for it, so it's going to be up to me to finish him. So I'm going to go with AP for now. I can switch to HE if he turns in toward me. We lose our Shima and our sub. They lose their sub. He is turning toward me, but he doesn't have the HP, and his guns are pointing the wrong way. So I got to switch back to HE here. It's the last volley of AP. I take just minimal damage there. Now, we are now up on ship. We've got 6, they've only got 5. As we finish off the Hampshire. And that North Carolina that's down there now, still on the J line, he's in big trouble. So what's the big threat to me? Well, really, I think the threat to me is the Des Moines. But he's a long way away, so I can probably help capture the Bravo Cat. I'm hoping our Jean Bar won't push south, that he'll just stay there at the island. Well, our Shima player, Gnome Killer, he's a little upset at that North Carolina that's still on the J line. Now their North Carolina is probably going to go down here. I'm going to ping him just to make sure that both our North Carolinas can see. Okay, and Gringo Pirate takes him out. Now the North Carolina that's on the H line, headed toward the G line, he's doing all he can. I think he's angled reasonably well. But the other North Carolina, he's stuck on the rocks now. He's dead. And you saw my comment there, if our Venom gets in front of their BBs, we have this. I believe that. Now, the Venom is not the most difficult ship to spot, but I think it does reasonably well against Holland. And Venom has so many torpedoes. If he can get out ahead of that push from their Iwami and Des Moines, he can probably be effective. Now, the Yugamo, that's the trick. But maybe I can help with the Yugamo at some point. You can see JB or Jean Bar, trying to back away from torpedoes. And those look to me like they were probably Yugamo torps. Get a little info from Gnome Killer telling us the Holland is with the Des Moines. I'm asking Ragnar if he plans to get D. I don't get any response. And looking at the player name, kind of wondering if maybe he doesn't speak English. He may be a South American player, so you'll see my comment here in a second. Now I'm deciding which way to position, and I decide to go this direction in the hope that these islands are going to afford me an opportunity. Yeah, those are definitely Yugamo torps. They're slow. Well, by comparison to the Holland, anyway. And North Carolina, yeah. Our North Carolina captains, well, I'm just going to let it go with that. I'm hoping to be able to get torpedoes in these guys' faces. I'm going to have to go around this island and hope I don't get detected. But if I do, I've got smoke. I just don't know exactly where their DDs are. So I see torpedoes coming from the south. Iwami's probably going to turn into those a little bit. So I want to get torpedoes to the left of where he's at. because I imagine he may keep that line and try to get closer to the islands. Now I'm swinging everything around now to the starboard side because I'm going to try and get behind this island, and I want my guns facing that way.
Generator started.
So I know that there's a DD. I'm looking south. Okay, I'm not detected now, so he's south of me. And I know they want me to get guns on something here, so I got to try and do that. Well, if Iwami lives long enough, the torpedoes are going to get him. And I probably should be shooting at the Des Moines. You can see the Shima saying that. But in case Iwami moves out of my torpedo range, I want to make sure he gets sunk. Battleship heels are nasty. But I do now need to switch to the Des Moines. And I'm going to use this island for cover. Now, you know, I've said before with this line, you really kind of have to conserve your HP and make sure that you're healthy at the end game. And this is kind of what I'm talking about. Torpedoes are coming. I've got the island covering me. There's the radar, and I'll just push forward. And there's not a thing that Des Moines can do. He can't shoot me. The only thing that could is probably DDs. And I'm targeted. So there's somebody southwest of me. Now they've moved back in, and I'm gonna run north and put torpedoes out in the hope of catching the Des Moines coming through this gap that is kind of directly behind my ship now. I've got to be careful when I maneuver in here not to get caught on these islands, because that Des Moines will absolutely wreck me. So if he detects those, he may not suspect the next set. And Yugumo is in big trouble here. He does not survive this. I'm still got cover from the island. So there's no way that the Des Moines is going to smash me. I've just got to keep the pressure on the Yugumo and I'll finish him. So that's it for him. And I go dark, and now I can get the next sets of torpedoes out and hope I catch the Des Moines. And I'm going to move across here to keep the island between me and the Des Moines as much as possible.
Torpedoes astern.
And I think I'm going to come back. Yep, there he is. I can use smoke. And I'm going to come back the other way now that he can't see me and get my guns going. So I tap him with one, and that's going to be it. Just have to keep pouring it on. So, was this a stellar performance? No, I don't think so, really. It just is, I think, a good example of how to play to the ship's strengths. Stay alive into the late game. Make good use of cover and your smokes to not take any big shots early. And that's going to do it. I hope you enjoyed this. These ships are fun to play. They're kind of like playing destroyers, but with better guns. And the trade-off there is that you have a citadel and can get blapped early if you're not careful. Thanks a lot for joining me. I'll see you next time.